I'm sure there's motherfuckers out there with fancy words who are gonna talk shit about how awesome I am, but you know, they're not making this video, so they can eat my ass. 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin, about 1/2 cup of Dea, if you have any. Then you're going to use 1/3 cup of nutritional yeast, 1/3 cup of vegan butter, 2 cups of regular flour, and a cup of soy milk. I prefer almond milk, but you can use soy milk. And then the grapeseed veganese, you're going to want to put about 2 tablespoons of that in there as well. The first thing you want to do is you want a large bowl. It makes probably like 20 little baby bears. Put in the dry ingredients first, so you know, just dump in the flour, nutritional yeast, baking powder, the sea salt, and the cumin. Mix everything up nice and cute like together. And then what I do is I take the butter, the vegan friendly butter, get it all in there. After your dry ingredients. And then since you have the tablespoon clean now, that's when I add the veganese. Now, these are just vegan alternatives to Cheddar Bay biscuits. These are not supposed to be healthy at all. So you let that sit for a second, and then you have the Dea. I always add like very last, and I add this once I start mixing it. But we're just gonna set these off to the side now. You have to make, because Cheddar Bay has like a lot of garlic in it. So instead of putting like garlic powder that's dry and gross, you can just make a garlic paste, really simple. Just use your blade, you kind of smash them down so it breaks the outside shell. And then when you peel it off, in your garlic, if there's any little growths occurring, like near the top of here, if that's actually been sitting long enough for like a little green sprout to pop up, make sure you cut that off and don't use that because it's going to add a lot of bitterant. It's going to be very bitter and kind of sour to your garlic, and it's going to lose that like creamy, kind of very deep, earthy taste. Dicing, and then you just work your way down to a mince. Chopping, dicing, and then minced. Now, when you're making the garlic paste, you don't want to mash it too fine when you're making the paste, because you can end up basically making everything disappear. And since I use wooden cutting boards because it does less damage to my blades and they last longer and I don't have to use them on a steel as often, the wood will absorb all the oils from the garlic. So that's why I say you don't want to smash them too much. So once you have it all, you can just take your blade and hold this end down, and then you just sort of grab it and drag it along. Squeezes all the garlic. You can see it like sheening there out of the plant material. That way you don't have huge chunks of garlic. A nice kind of completely destroyed plant material, so that when you mix it all up, it stays soft in the baking process. So it's not going to be chunky, it's just going to be garlicky tasty, which is exactly what you want. It's like 5.5 tablespoons for 1/3 cup for the butter, but I just use 1/3 cup, so it's a little less butter than 6 tablespoons, but because I add the veganese, it really kind of like equals it out, really, when it comes to the oils. I just kind of smash everything against the side, because it forces the butter and veganese to mix with the flour and kind of becomes like chunky and look like meal. If you want a hard biscuit, you use a rolling pin. If you want flaky biscuits, then you use your hands and you just fold it and knead it with your hands. The more you roll it, the tighter everything's gonna get. So we have it kind of looking like meal a little bit. Everything's pretty much mixed up pretty good. So what I do is I'll add half the soy milk. And put the other half in there. Once you get it all mixed up, so it looks pretty good, you add the cheese last, and then you just take a spatula and roll it in like this. I use a spatula because it gets everything out of the bowl, and you don't waste it. You want to, I put a lot of flour on mine when I'm kneading by hand because it sticks to your hands. There's flour on your hands so it doesn't stick as much. And then I just kind of like, instead of roll it out, I just pat it out for the most part. Alright, so then you fold it about 5 times. Like it's a samurai sword of biscuit goodness. So with the help of my little cookie cutter in the shape of a bear, we've already cut them out, toss them on the tray. That right there we'll knead back out and then cut some more. At 450, and then you just set the timer for 10 minutes. It's that simple. And that's all it takes. Simple ingredients, simple procedure, quick time, and a cute little bear cutter, and you got Cheddar Bear biscuits. Cute little Cheddar Bears. And they're fucking tasty. So, you know. I hope you enjoy the little recipe that I stole and modified and made okay for everyone to eat.